They skyrocket in price.
3, 2, 1.
It's supposed to go higher. Today, big dog, we are going to be talking about some huge Yu-Gi-Oh investments, some cards that you can buy and make the big moolah on, or you should be having for the future of Yu-Gi-Oh. Let's go ahead and jump on in. What's going on with y'all, big dogs? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh. I hope that's your day phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the end of your day. As you guys should already know, this is a particular time where I scam you guys into thinking that it's a Yu-Gi-Oh video, but in actuality, it's Update Monday! A particular time where I make you guys a better person overall. That's better than being a Yu-Gi-Oh player. As you already know, this should be the last week for Black History Month. So we're gonna be talking about something that I think is pretty cool. And if you guys don't want to see Update Mondays, then you can always just skip. I've left timestamps. So really quickly, a lot of people did not know that during slave times, Mexico was considered a free state, meaning that if you were enslaved and you moved to Mexico, you were declared a free man inside of that territory. I think that it's incredibly important to know that because there are a lot of people in Mexico that didn't know that they have Afro roots because of this. There's actually even an Afro community inside of Mexico that's still their community to this day. So why is this important? This particular Black History Month, I wanted to talk about, of course, Black history, but I wanted to talk about how other cultures had a huge impact on Black history. It's really important to know that as a Black American whose roots come from slavery, that I'm not alone and I have a ton of help. It's a pretty pivotal time where people are going through a particular situation of disparity. And as a Black American that has faced similar issues, I just wanted to let you guys know that I stand for you. Viva la Mexico. Did I say it right? I've been actually doing a lot of Duolingo and I've been learning Spanish again. Oh, goddamn, no, man, look, you know what? I'm learning Spain Spanish and they're teaching me like real proper. So it's Viva Mexico. Yeah, forget that. But that brings us to the topic at hand. Unity, which means we're all going to come together and we're all going to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh cards that you should buy before it skyrockets in price. Now, I just want to give a little bit of pretext. I'm right about a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but I'm not always right. So buy these Yu-Gi-Oh cards on your own risk. And if you guys are buying one TCG player, make sure to use my link down below in the comment section. Let's go ahead and start off with these cards. I'm going to let chat lead off with something that they think you should be looking at, and then we'll go back and forth and discuss some really powerful cards. How about Therion King Regulus and Affinity Track River Stormer, since they can be played in Crystron? That's actually not a bad idea. I think that both Therion King Regulus and Infinite Track River Stormer are good buys, not strictly because of Crystron. It's because they're technically generic machine support. Just in Supreme Darkness, we got Clockwork Knight, the Link monster, to be able to search Clockwork Knight, the continuous spell card. So later on down the line, we are bound to get more machine support to make these cards really good. And these will probably be some of the generic cards that people are looking at, which actually brings me to our first card we should be looking at, Clockwork Knight. In my humble opinion, guys, Link 1 monsters are the main reason why Yu-Gi-Oh is in peril. They are easily some of the most busted cards in the entire game, and it's strictly because you can trade one monster on the field for a completely different card with a whole new set of effects inside of your extra deck. And most of the time, these effects are really busted. Clockwork Knight only requires one non-link machine monster with less than 1,000 attack, and then allows you to be able to send one continuous spell card you control to the graveyard to be able to add a Clockwork Knight from your deck to your hand. It also says you can target one machine monster with 1,000 or less attack in your graveyard, tribute one machine monster except for this card, and if you do, summon that monster in defense position. The card's kind of crazy. Every Link one is busted, so why wouldn't you have a card that only has one printing in Supreme Darkness and won't be reprinted anytime soon? Like, yes, it is a $1 card right now, but if you guys haven't noticed, there are tons of Yu-Gi-Oh cards from recent Yu-Gi-Oh sets that immediately skyrocket in price. Think about how Primite Lordly Load was only $4 and is now $80. Me personally, it's one of those cards that I would rather have and not need than need and not have. So definitely pick up that Yu-Gi-Oh card if I were you. We are getting a new set called Maze of the Master, and that set is thought of to be smashing. I've told you to buy a couple of cards before they skyrocket in price, and Codester is right. Glorious Audra could be one of them. Inside of this Maze of the Master set, continuous trap cards are expected to go with a bang. Like seriously, these cards are expected to be insanely good. So why not pick up the cards that are really good with these continuous trap cards? Not only does Argostar Glorious Audra fit that criteria and is a cheap card, I also think this is one of your last opportunities to pick up Silhouette Rapid. This card's pretty amazing. It lets you set any continuous trap card. Think about it. Any continuous trap card that summons itself as a monster. I know for a lot of you guys, you may be complete zoomers and don't know, but Odeon, which is the main guy on the Maze of Alinea set, deals with trap monsters. I want to know what the Odeon cards do. You know what? I don't know what they do. And they could be as bad as Gate Guardian, but they also could be as good as Gate Guardian. Regardless, Silhouette Rabbit makes sense because not only is Argostar's going up, Eldritch is going up. On top of that, the card is just flat out good. The Rabbit is a crazy link and also an illusion monster, so hard to get rid of by battle. I'm telling you guys are missing out. Just like because of that set, Maze of the Masters, you should also pick up Surfacing Big Jaws. 7th Tachyon will be coming out inside of that set, and Surfacing Big Jaws is a crazy good card, not just for Shark decks. It locks you into Xseed monsters, so Ryziel decks? I have a strong premonition that Ryziel may be on the ban list at some capacity, and when that does happen, your Surfacing Big Jaws may be the next best card. But hey, you don't gotta listen to me. Black Goat Laos for sure. I bought my 2 copies a month ago for $19, and now they're running at $28. It's almost like somebody been telling y'all to pick up Black Goat. Now, Black Goat's a crazy good card. Like, seriously, it's one of the few outs that we have to Ryziel Detonator because it prevents it from using its effect, whether they resummon it back with Eclipse Twins or not. But there is another card that gets around not only Ryziel Detonator, but it's also incredibly good against Malice and Blue Eyes, which is thought of to be the best 3 decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think if you don't have your Metal Ronuses, you're a goofball. Metal Ronus is probably one of the best board-breaking spell cards in the entire game. And while for most strategies it will require just a little bit of your extra deck, there's so much coverage with this card. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Ryziel Detonator not only matches Ryziel Detonator, but it also matches Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is interesting. This means that if you're a Blue Eyes White Dragon player, you can use Metal Ronus to summon Blue Eyes White Dragon, and you can also banish your opponent's Detonator, or you can summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon. There's also Myriologic Aggregator, which just so happens to be a dark monster with the same attack as a certain Malice monster. There's a Synchro monster named Malong, which just so happens to be a Lightened Dragon for Blue Eyes. And these cards just so happen to be pretty good Ultimate Slayer targets. Heck, even against like Fiendsmith or Nightmare Griffin. Light Fiend monsters aren't that hard to produce to your side of the field. Callie, I picked up a playset of Chaos Hunters for $13 a piece at my local shop. Thoughts? Personally, I think Chaos Hunter is a gimmick. I'm not saying that it isn't a good card. It's actually a counter to Metal Ronus if you get it on your side of the field early enough, but I'm not sure. One thing that I do want to say about Metal Ronus is that you don't have to just use it to break boards. You can use it to spell summon monsters from your deck. It's just overall a really good card that I think everyone should have in their arsenal. Chaos Hunter is in the same situation as Kira Kara. Dang it! McLovin, how you know? This one's a really huge risk because it's almost guaranteed that Kira Kara gets reprinted inside of the next quarter century set, right? The Stampede set. But I think Kira Kara is kind of a good card. Divine Incarnate Kira Kara being able to tribute out all monster effects that activate their effects. It's not good against Ryziel Detonator unless they don't have access to the Eclipse Twins, but it's really solid at being able to wipe boards and finish the game really fast. It's definitely one of those cards where you can take a really huge risk on, and if it doesn't get reprinted, then you're in a gold mine, but it's more than likely that Kira Kara gets reprinted, right? I mean, that's my hunch too. I just got Kira Kara on Master Duel. How did that feel? Kira Kara is like one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards because it just looks cool. But more importantly, I love the aspects that it can punish your opponent for having a bigger board, and it can outright win a game. I've never been a fan of like Gunnar art, but it's okay. You think any Mermail or Atlanteans will jump up in price? Well, here's the thing. Murmur Atlantean is probably the third or the fourth best deck in the game. Fortunately enough, most of the cards have been reprinted, except for like Murmur Abyss Pike and Gaios. Those cards are almost definitely going to be reprinted in Stampede. And when they do, I can't think of many cards that would be worth picking up outside of the QCRs. The Ally of Justice hand trap that banishes 2 light monsters is pretty decent. Crimson's onto something. Ally of Justice Cycle Reader is pretty good against Blue Eyes, but also can be good against Fiendsmith. Hold on, guys. And if you're ever going against a Drytron player, you can cook them. It's searchable through Gear, Gag, and X. I'm coping. I think that Ally of Justice Cycle Reader is one of those cards that's worth investing into if it's cheap enough, but if it's too expensive, you gotta, no, brother, ew. I would be picking up the DT ones because they're not gonna reprint DT again, right? And lastly, I have a card that I think is criminally underrated right now, and I've been seeing it in just about everyone's side deck. You guys need to pick up your high rarity copies of Solemn Strike. This really shouldn't come as a surprise, but Solemn Strike is one of the best sideboard cards in the game. Not only can it stop the Charmy cards, pivotal hand traps, it can also stop important summons from the extra deck. I haven't heard that name in a long time, my brother. See, that's why I'm making these videos, to make sure that you're up to date. High rarity copies of Solemn Strike, very, very respectable card, and it's already been reprinted. So pick up your QCRs, your Ultimates, and your copies of Solemn Strike that you really like. But that's pretty much all that I have for the cards that you should be picking up. Of course, not only will chat be on my YouTube channel and on Twitch, because I'm pretty sure I'm streaming today. Catch me out there at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I want to know what are some cards that you guys will be picking up and looking into. As always, I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I'll be sure to catch you on the next video.